Welcome to Men's Anonymous, the podcast where men can be vulnerable and open without fear of judgment. Your host, Daniel Weinberg, leads authentic and unfiltered discussions that explore the challenges and triumphs of modern manhood. Join us as we break down barriers, challenge stereotypes, and redefine masculinity. Men's Anonymous, a safe space for men to lower their shields and share their inner world without judgment.
On this week's show, we have one of our anonymous men talking about their journey of being a father of a neurodivergent child and the complexities that come with that. I hope you enjoy this Men's Anonymous. Joe, so good to have you on the show, mate.
Thanks for having me, Daniel. It's great to be here.
Okay, so just to set the scene for the audience, Joe is a alias name. Our interviewee today will be recorded on an anonymous basis for personal reasons, but very grateful to have Joe on the show today as we explore a very interesting topic which is very relevant in today's world. I thought it would be extremely valuable to gain a better understanding of what it's like to parent a child with special needs. So we're going to hear about Joe's journey and also going to explore the different tools that have been implemented, and hopefully it'll be a very interesting conversation. So Joe, thank you so much for making the time for us. I want to start off by asking how long you've been married for, or how long have you been with your partner for?
Yeah, so we got married in 2016. So
Okay.
it is, coming on almost 10 years.
How many children do you have?
I've got 2 children, a son who is 7 and a daughter who's 5 years old.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
7
quite a
and
late
5.
father. So I had my first child when I was 40 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your son or your daughter is the one that with special needs?
My son, he's on the spectrum,
So maybe explain the or rather describe his situation, and then we'll go through the journey around that.
Yeah, maybe I'll start just at the beginning.
Yes.
So when my son was 1 year old, we started to just pick up some early red flags. So he wasn't pointing. He was a bit late in the development of actually, making sounds and things like that.
So when you say he wasn't pointing,
like
can you expand on what the significance of pointing is?
Yeah, so these are things that I didn't really know about at the time, but started just seeing basically things that he kept on doing. So one of them was he was spinning around in circles quite a lot, and I thought, okay, that's fine. He's just having a good time.
Right.
The other one, he started having obsessions with doors and anything that closed, and spend hours just at these doors. And then
when you say hours at the doors, you mean like opening,
like just closing,
opening,
closing and opening.
Right.
And then also sequencing, so getting everything in order.
At what age are we talking about? At 1 year old?
This is 1 year old. So
wow.
I'll tell you what happened. When he was 0 to 1,
Yes.
we didn't notice anything.
Okay.
And I would take him around in a pram just around the block.
Sure.
And I was saying words like, orange, and he would say orange. I was saying many different words and he was repeating them.
Oh,
And
okay.
then all of a sudden, after about a year, he
Mm.
just stopped repeating after me.
He
and
stopped repeating after you.
stopped repeating.
Okay.
And it started to make me a little bit worried.
Okay.
So I started to dig a little bit deeper into what could possibly, be the reason. And
Did you take your son to the pediatrician, or you were just doing your
yeah,
own Googling?
exactly. So first of all, I looked, and I'll explain what I mean by no pointing. I looked about some of the not the symptoms, but some of the things that occur usually in autistic kids is when they see something, they don't use their pointing finger to point at it. So I would say to him, "Where's the cat?" Or "Can you show me where the door is?" And our natural instinct, if you're not neurodiverse or on the spectrum, is to point. So that was already a bit of a red flag for me. So I went to a pediatrician, and she actually said to me, maybe she saw him on a really good day, because she was like, "No, your son is fine."
Okay.
Because he's still a very cheerful, bright, curious, and funny kid. But she obviously hasn't seen the different sides that we saw. So we said, okay, that's fine. And then after another month, we realized, no, something is definitely not the right, because we've got lots of our friends' kids that are the same age.
Oh, so then you're starting to see the dissonance
Yes.
between their, let's say, development and your son's development. So can you maybe highlight a couple of those things
Yeah. Well, I think it was the other children wanting to play together,
okay.
and him always wanting to be on the outskirts.
And why did you see that as being unusual behavior? Like why?
Well, I don't think it was just that. I think it was the culmination of not pointing, the circles, some of the obsessions, and then also one of the big red flags is not hearing your name, not responding to your name.
Right.
So with all the other kids, they would shout, "Jack!" Jack looks at the mom or the dad.
Right.
But with Aiden, Aiden, and okay, he wouldn't hear it. So it became a bit of a red flag for us when he wasn't responding to his name.
Right.
Um,
So obviously you and your wife, as parents, I can only imagine it would be quite stressful, not knowing, I guess your mind starts going in all directions because you're unsure. Number one, you know that there's something that is not right, and you've gone to a doctor, and the doctor said, no, your child is normal. As parents, you just know, right? You just know.
no, exactly. So we decided to take him to, I forget the name, but she basically is the person that assesses any child that could be on the spectrum.
Now, I heard you say something about, I didn't pick up the phrase you use, and I think I've heard it before, which is the technical or more precise name to describe all these different conditions is neurologically divergent. Is that the
Neurodiverse?
neurodiverse? And what does neurodiverse cover in general when they say neurodiverse?
It's quite a big, as I say, a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So everything from what used to be called Asperger's,
Sure.
which is basically what we believe our son has, is where you are extremely smart, you can be loving, you can be funny, but you are socially awkward, all the way up to, if you get low functioning and high functioning.
Okay.
And high functioning is like an Asperger's, so that they are fully socially, they're fully capable, and they can go to mainstream school, but they just have some issues with social. And then you also get low functioning, where they are actually doing self abuse to themselves. They're hitting
wow.
kids. They are screaming. They're nonverbal till they're 12 years old. It's such a big spectrum, and I look at it
Yes.
like this, like a color chart.
Absolutely. Okay, so you went to have your son tested specifically for where is your child on the spectrum?
Yes.
And how
So
old is he at this stage?
he was 1 year old, which is an
Wow, so you picked it up quite early.
extremely young diagnosis. Most people
Yes.
get picked up at about 6, 7, and some even I've spoken to an adult who was 40 years old when he got picked up.
Okay. The assessment came back. By the way, for the assessment, do you recall what they did in the assessment?
Yeah, I was there. And basically, she approaches him with some toys,
Yeah, okay.
and he will take the toys and turn his back to her. Where most other kids, they want to involve you in
Oh, they want to interact.
interact. Yeah. So that was one of the things. And then there was one or two, there was a couple of things I actually was outside for, but it was things to do with speech. It was, gross motor skills, a couple of these, it's called the CARS assessment.
Okay.
And they basically just check off a couple of different things in terms of how a non-neurodiverse child would perform and how a neurodiverse child would perform. And my son was actually on the cusp, you could call it.
When you say cusp, explain.
There's a point system to this assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Say you were 45 points, you are on the spectrum in terms of high functioning. And if you were 40 points, you would be considered normal or non-neurodiverse. So he's extremely high functioning.
So that was the assessment at that time. And once you received that assessment, what did they give you? Did they tell you what you needed to do to manage this situation better? What was the follow up from the assessment from the medical side?
Yeah, we were very lucky because there was a lady who was doing a PhD who knew the assessor. And this lady actually teaches other teachers to how to handle and how to deal with autism kids. So she said, listen, can I do your child as one of my case studies?
Right.
And this is now 2 weeks before COVID. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I have another baby that's just been born. And
so can I on that? We're jumping to that. When you got pregnant the second time, were you already aware of your son's condition?
Yes.
Now, I've always been curious about this. Even though you knew about the condition,
oh, sorry. Let me backtrack. When my wife was pregnant with Bailey, we didn't know Aiden was on the spectrum yet.
Okay. All right.
We hadn't, but she was literally as she was pregnant with her.
Okay. So let's fast forward. So you're 2 weeks before COVID. You're starting the process to work with this PhD professor, with your son involved in the case study on how to manage children, I guess, that fall within this neurodiverse spectrum. And what happens?
So then COVID hits.
Yes.
We go move in with my mother-in-law's parents. Because we just got a newborn baby, she's 3 weeks old. And we don't know how long COVID is going to last.
Sure.
And we found out we know that our son needs a bit of extra attention and help. So we end up with this lady every single day with an iPad. And she teaches us basically how to interact and how to promote dialogue, how to promote eye contact, how to kind of build these
skills
for him. Yeah, these soft skills, you could call it.
Yes.
And it even involved me being in a bath with all my clothes, with my son, with the iPad, and her just coaching us through how to do daily tasks. It could be the kitchen, could be in the bathroom, anywhere that we needed, and she was kind of coaching us through.
Can you give us some insights on some of those tools and how valuable they were, and what they were and what they achieved effectively?
Yeah, it's to be honest, it was 7 years ago. Let me think. It was, I think when he's about to have a meltdown, or if you could see that there was a meltdown, it was how to kind of calm yourself,
Calm
because
yourself or help him regulate?
it helps them to regulate when they see that you're calm and not panicked or starting to get frustrated. Also, a couple of distraction techniques. So maybe he's hyper focused on that. He can't get this in the kitchen or can't do this. So it's about how do you redirect his attention somewhere else, and how do you try and use a bit of humor? Just creates an environment that isn't stressful. So
This sounds almost like it could be applied to kids that are non-neurodivergent.
yeah, possibly, but I guess so, actually.
That was very helpful having her as a guy, but during COVID, it must have been very challenging.
Yeah, it was, because I just found out I was sleeping in a separate kind of section of this house by myself. My my wife was upstairs with the baby, getting help from her mom, and obviously my son we'd take care of him in the day. But obviously a lot goes through your mind, because there were many experiences where we're having dinner and there's just like all the whole dinner is just screaming. So you get to the point where you're going, wow, I don't, because by that stage, I didn't know if he's really low functioning or high functioning. I didn't really know the severity of it. And you kind of go through these stages of, you don't know what the future holds. And it can be quite a scary situation.
So it's a fear of the unknown. It's the, oh my God, my life for the next 20 years is going to be this.
Exactly. I didn't know if he was going to be nonverbal till 12. You don't know what kind of care you're going to need. So everybody, I think everything's just, they're going to have this normal life, and, everything's going to be like like a Hollywood movie. But, when things like this happen, you really, go quite deep inside yourself, and you have to kind of be strong and look for solutions very quickly, or you go down a bit of a mental rabbit hole.
Okay, so I want to explore. Thank you for bringing this up, because it's where I wanted to go, which is I want to explore how I've got a few questions. How it affected you mentally and emotionally as the man, as the father. I want to know how it affected your relationship with your wife. I want to talk about how it is today and how it's affected his sibling, how you see how or whether it has affected your daughter. And then the last question I want to ask is, how has it affected your social life? So let's start off with you. I want to, you started talking about, did you go into, did you have a little breakdown? Did you get anxiety, depression? Or how did it affect you on a daily basis once this thing really sunk in?
Yeah, I think COVID was a bit of a tough time, because it's spending a really lot of time with him and with the facilitator, with the PhD lady, but also just, at night time, I had a couple of breakdowns.
So when you say you had breakdowns, what does that mean?
You in bed and you don't know how to handle the gravity of the situation and the unknown. So you basically, and I'm not one to, I hadn't for very long, I kind of kept everything in.
Yes.
I was talking about the diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
But then, there was I remember 2 nights of just sobbing.
Wow. On your own or with your wife?
on my own.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you able to share this with any other men, with a family member, a
Yeah.
sibling of yours, a close friend of yours? Like, who did you turn to?
See, I'm very lucky. I'm very close to my brother,
Oh, that's good.
and I'm also got a very good group of friends that I've known, some of them since I was 4 years old.
Uh-huh.
So I definitely opened up, and I didn't hold anything back because I wanted them to see it through my eyes so I could also
Yes.
give them advice. And a lot of them were like, they're really good in the way they said, listen, you be patient because it's quite difficult right now, but you can't worry about the unknown. And
Yes.
so, but I was convinced that it was the worst case scenario.
Right. Wow. You went dark,
You know,
basically.
I went dark. And then I've got an amazing wife that was able to also. I wanted to be strong for her,
Mm-hmm.
but there was an occasional time when I would almost have a breakdown in front of her.
Wow. How do you see the impact it had on your relationship at an emotional level, at a physical level? Like, how did it change things for the two of you? Did it bring you much stronger together? Did it create, was there, like, did
Yeah,
anyone ever think, oh, who's actually responsible for this? And it became a little bit of, was there any resentment? Like, how would you describe how it impacted your overall relationship with your wife?
definitely in the long term has strengthened it. I think that my wife, with the mothering, nurturing instinct, she went into overdrive. So
Oh, wow.
she was like,
Inspiring.
she like basically she had a routine, a schedule every single day
Mm.
of what we're doing with Aiden. How's this helping him? Else can we speak to? OTs, speech therapists. Yeah, she was like, I'm not
Just threw
stopping
threw
until
everything in the kitchen sink at it, basically.
everything. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, like when I was faltering a little bit doing
Yes.
that, she was definitely my rock.
Isn't that amazing when that happens? The impact it can have on different people, like, it can either push you to a place of crumbling, or it can push you to a place of just sheer determination.
Yeah,
And so to have a partner, for there to be a couple where one of them is able to do that, to dig deep and push through, I'm sure it helped inspire you, even though you were faltering at times. That I'm sure it helped you to also dig deep and go, okay, I've got to, I've really got to deliver
yeah.
as
Because
well.
I think what happens is you start saying out loud the worries or the problems that you are seeing,
Yes.
and you start repeating that, like he's not playing with people, or uh,
You're basically
manif-
manifesting negative.
manifesting it out loud while she's going only solutions,
Right.
no, and that helps a lot. So, and then you start to actually put your brain, change your mindset,
Yes.
looking for rather the negative or what is wrong to how can we help, how can we make this better.
And so I can imagine that also affected a change of mindset brought on by this situation. Sounds like it would have also changed your mindset in how you approach other things in life.
Yeah. I'll definitely say parenting him has made me better, like slower, kinder, more patient.
Uh-huh.
I've learned to respect his pace. And I think also just seeing the world through his eyes. So you start to celebrate these small wins, and, you know, it's almost, you become his advocate if it's his,
Wow.
voice at school or with the teachers or with the doctors, with the other friends' parents. And it definitely, I'd say, takes a village to raise a neurodiverse child.
Wow. Okay, so let's fast forward today. He's 7 years old today.
Yeah.
Let's describe his situation, and I want to go back to, how do you think in all this time how is your relationship with your wife today, and how do you see the situation, how it's impacted his sister, and
Yeah.
I want to hear about how it is socially. Okay, so let's talk
Okay.
about what's his current situation today. How would you describe him?
So he's thriving, to be honest. He's in mainstream school.
Oh,
He's still
he's in a traditional school.
he's in a traditional school. We had the option,
Yes.
and we actually went to go visit some other schools.
Yes.
And um, the the OT and the speech therapist, they said, "Listen, let's give it a go in a
Yes.
mainstream school, but we have to have a facilitator in the classroom."
Okay.
So there's a lady who just stands there and kind of watches, just because he has quite a short attention span,
Sure.
and just to keep him directed.
Yep.
But academically, he's thriving. He
Wow.
enjoys structure, maths,
Wow.
the most incredible memories. When he was
Wow.
2 years old, he could
Yes.
remember 80 flags.
Oh, wow.
And now he plays chess. So he's doing extremely well. And I think high functioning label can be misleading, because people expect quite a lot socially because he's pretty bright.
Right. How is he
And
socially?
yeah, definitely anxious.
Describe a situation.
Okay, so
Okay, we're
I
going.
go to
You're going to come over. I have my boys turning 7. Okay, you come over, Joe. Come over with your wife and your 2 kids, and let's just do a barbecue at my place today. Very relaxed. My kids and yours. And he meets my boys for the first time. What's the how does it go?
Yeah, I'll probably tell him to say hello and
Okay.
to them, and how are you to them, because I enforce a couple of things. And I think he would kind of do his own thing.
Right.
Yeah, but he's, what happened? What's I think helped a lot. When he was, after COVID, we came back. So I said, there's a whole lot of nannies in our areas with kids.
Yes.
And I said, let's have all the kids at our house every day.
Yes.
So I made our house a nursery school, basically.
Oh wow, daddy daycare. So
Yeah,
what you wanted to do is expose him socially interacting with other kids on a
yeah,
very regular basis, so it just becomes normal.
yes, exactly. So they would finish
Very clever.
their nursery school. They would all come to our kids. I'd have 6 or 7 kids at a time in
Wow.
our house, and that definitely helped. So going back to your thing with, if I brought him with your kids,
Yes.
he wants to play with the other kids. He just
Yes.
doesn't know how to express,
Yes.
like, doesn't know what to say to
What
them,
he wants to do, or how
yeah,
to
or how to kind of get involved in, if they're playing a game, or I went to a birthday party on Saturday, and I usually take his sister with him, because his
Yes.
sister's like his comfort blanket. She's his best
Oh, no.
friend.
Yes.
And
Oh, I want to talk about that. Okay. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so we get to the party, and all the kids now, they're getting a bit older, so they're all playing, running around and stuff like that. And he's like, I can see he wants to play,
Uh-huh.
but he just doesn't know how to take that first step.
Right.
So there's 1 or 2 kids that I know that get on well with him,
Yes.
and I usually will go up and I'll say, "Hey, listen, can you ask Aiden to come play?" And they'll go, "Aiden, come
Right.
here," and then he feels like it's a bit more accepting.
Right. And his sister, you just said they're best friends.
Yeah.
So I have a friend who's, I would describe, is a bit more of a severe situation. Is neurodivergent, but I'd say the relationship between the brother and sister is not as the way you describe. I think it's quite challenging. It's quite challenging for the relationship. It's
Uh,
difficult.
yeah. I think, now because she's pretty young, she's 5. I think as she gets older, because already we're seeing, there's uh, a friend of Aiden and of my son and his sister, and she's about 6 years old, and she
Yes.
used to be kind of around Aiden quite a lot, but now she only wants to be around Bailey.
Right.
And I can see that as they gets older, she might find, there's are circumstances where maybe he's being socially awkward, or that, I don't know. I've kind of instilled in her that she's always got to stick up for him,
Okay.
so I got this kind of protective role because we had a very horrible incident with a friend's son who's the same age as my son, who was bullying Aiden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How is he bullying him?
So they come to our house and have dinner here,
Yes.
and then I would go and check in on the kids, and
Yeah.
I would see that they were, he was telling them to run away first from him, and then he was locking the doors and not letting him in his bedroom. And then I heard him calling him names.
Who's
So
who name? Your son's calling the other guy names?
no,
The other way.
the other way, that their son was calling him names, and then in
Like,
front
when you
of
say names,
everybody,
like what?
just like, you're a poop head,
All right.
just like, just silly names.
Yes.
And then we had some people at our house, and that same boy pulled his pants down, in front of the other kids.
Pulled your son's pants down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's also, done some things, in terms of that could really hurt him, but I can't really talk about it right now.
Sure.
But, yeah.
And did you address that with the parents, or you just stopped inviting them?
I had to address it. Yeah. And, yeah, but they said that it's actually, we're not the first people that have said this about,
Oh,
yeah.
about their son's behavior.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was, yeah, he was just being an extreme bully.
And socially, so you've described a little bit of socially. How have or your social crowd, did that change at all because of your son's condition? Did it make it more challenging, or not really? They're all been very welcoming, accepting, and encouraging you to come and hang out.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky that they have been encouraging. However, as we do get older, I have noticed some of the other children getting a little bit, because they can't connect in the way that they're used to, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can see them getting either a little bit bored,
Right.
or not understanding kind of, why is this person not interacting with me the same way everybody else is.
Right.
So it obviously breaks my heart a lot.
Sure. Can imagine.
We're going camping soon in 2 weeks, and with some kids and stuff, and I'm always hyper alert
Yeah.
to make sure that
You're just on. You're not like usually. Let's say as a comparison, I'll go away with all my kids with other people. I'm going to be a bit more relaxed and just let them do their thing. Where
Yeah.
what I'm hearing from you is that when you engage in such activities or experiences, you're on because you're hyper aware of where he's at, of making sure that he's okay, making sure to facilitate positive outcomes for him, whether it's like,
Yes.
hey guys, why don't you kick the ball with him right now, or hey, or you'll hang out with him because whatever it is, you have to be on. You can't just sit back and just let them roam around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it has got it. It depends what group of people, but it has definitely got easier. But I still do check in like once every 15, 20 minutes.
Sure. And who does he have a better relationship with? Your wife or you?
I
Who
think
does he go to? Who does he go to when something's up?
it's pretty even, to be honest.
Okay.
He obviously loves his mom because all boys love their mom.
Oh, sure.
What I also instill very early is I think every day I must tell him I love him
Yes.
and I'm proud of him about, sure, 20 times, and I get, as soon as he comes to that door, I get to make sure he comes and sits on my lap.
Oh,
And,
sweet.
so I basically kill both my kids with love.
Oh, wow.
And I definitely, like, one of I sold them at their 21st, and it's something that I do every day. I try to catch them out. I say, guess what? And if they say what, I caught them out. But if they say, you love us, they're so used for me saying, guess what? I love
Right.
you.
Oh,
So because I've always encouraged hugging and love and him sitting on my lap and asking him questions and telling him how proud I am, he feels a lot of trust with me,
oh.
which helps.
So you become a softer,
Much
more
softer.
accepting, more open,
Yeah.
more solutions focused, more present, more calm because of this whole situation that
Definitely. The
ended
whole
up with.
perspective. If he walks in, like I see now, he's just got back from school.
Yes.
When he walks in, I will basically just stop work and I just focus those 10 minutes or something on
Yes.
him, because, yeah, and he blows my mind every day. He's just, he did ask me once, he said,
Yes.
Daddy, am I different?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
And
what'd you
this was
say?
when he was like 3. He
Oh,
hasn't asked me again since, but
what did you say?
I said, everybody's different, and I said, we're all different and we've all got beautiful, beautiful things about us. But it is something that we're actually speaking to the OT at the moment, because it's
How to
going to be one of
address it,
those
how to
things where we
explain.
want to decide, you know, he's soon going to find out, or he maybe knows that he's different. So we just want to get the right tools to be able to, you know, uh, how do you get him to process it? So that is one of the things that we are actually going to be speaking to about.
It's so interesting to hear. I'm going to reframe the situation. Okay. My takeaway from this is that this little boy came into your life and gave you the opportunity to try and be the best parents that you can be. And he's pushed you to want to be better. Because if you think about, let's compare other situations, most parents are just responding or reacting to what they need to do. Okay. They just, whatever gets thrown at them, they're reacting. Okay. You don't see many parents who are like trying to tool up their kit on how they can be better communicators, how they can, better, interact with their children, how they can better teach their children, etc. And basically, you guys have become professional parents where you've just gone deep in what can you do to make your son's life and your daughter's life, to give them the best opportunity at being the best versions of themselves. But more from the perspective of the parents, what can you do as parents to enable that outcome? And for me, I think it's very touching, very inspiring, and hopefully there are parents out there that take a leaf out of your book and try and think about parenting in the in the same way that you guys have. So
Yeah, well, I would also tell, if there's any, for the listeners who are in the same situation, is to get on all the community groups. Start following, start finding out. You realize that, there's 1 in 36 people who are on the spectrum now. There's a huge support group, and there's also a lot of interesting tips. And, I'm on like Instagram Reels where people are giving me these tips and that you get for different ages. And then also that difference is not a deficit. It's just a different way of being in the world. And every time when I speak to my son, put myself in his perspective.
Wow. Very special. Okay, Joe, at the end of every episode, I ask my guests 5 different questions. So I'm going to just give me your short response to these questions. So who would you like to say sorry to given the chance?
Who would I like to say sorry to given the chance?
Yes.
Maybe my wife, to be honest.
Okay. What are you proud of being or doing in your life?
Proud of the father that I am.
Yes, that's obvious.
And proud of doing is, all the things that I do for these kids.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you receive kindness while needing it most and expecting it least?
I think this exact situation. I need people to also see the world through my perspective and what I was going through. And a lot of my family and friends were there to support.
So they turned up. What did your mother or father teach you that you frequently remind yourself of?
Be good to others and they'll be good to you. Or I think kindness, it goes a long way.
Very true. And finally, what is your superpower?
I think my superpower is I don't give up, and I always do look at I look at the glass half full.
I look at the glass overflowing. Try anyway.
That's even better.
Joe, thank you for your time. I heard your boy enter your house, so I think it's time for you to go spend that quality 10 minutes with him during the day. Appreciate the time, and thank you so much for sharing what is a very personal and quite deep and emotional journey you've been on. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thanks so much for having me, Daniel.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
That's it for this episode of Men's Anonymous. Thank you for listening. For more information on the Men's Anonymous podcast, including resources discussed in the show, visit mensanonymous.com. Join us next time as host Daniel Weinberg provides a non-judgmental space for men to voice their innermost feelings and thoughts.